What's going on, guys? We got another Cup of Nations battle here. This time we got Klayton as Baktria and Freakyy as Epirus. Let's look at the Bactrian army real quick. We got 4 thorax swords, 1 Bactrian royal guard, and 3 levy pikes there. Looks like 4 Persian light archers, and looks like there are 4 Bactrian noble horse, so very strong cav force, and 3 Scythian horse archers. So you really strong missiles and cav. For Baktria, and a decent infantry line as well, especially with these pikes. They could cause all sorts of problems. We also have a hillman, looks like, over here, Bactrian hillman. Now for Epirus, it seems like we got 4 Thessalian cav, 1 Tarentine cav, we have a Hellenic royal cav gen, Arrow spear, looks like 2 hoplites, 1 Etruscan hoplite, and 3 Samnite warriors. And then 1 Illyrian levy, 2 Illyrian levy, and 3 Rhodian slingers. Or no, 2 Rhodians and 1 regular slinger. So I'm actually really interested to see how this infantry battle is going to go, because it seems like actually a pretty even fight. There's also these Illyrian levies that can do damage with their javelins against these pikes, and the slinger force is going to absolutely tear up these archers, which is really helpful because the slingers can then go to work against these pikemen. So I think it's actually going to cause Klayton to have to attack instead of sitting back behind his pikes, because his archers are definitely going to lose to these Rhodians. Meanwhile, these horse archers are just threatening the flanks here. You can see how much attention has been diverted to stopping them. But he's not really doing that much damage, and these slingers should be enough to ward them off for now. Let's see if you can maybe split them up and get around the back here. Obviously, he would really like to target these weak shock cav here, but they're much too far away to get shot right now. So maybe if he comes around the back, he can start shooting them in the back here, and that could cause all sorts of problems, because these Thessalians are going to be a really good help against this infantry. I don't know if these Bactrian noble horse will actually beat them one-on-one, so that's going to be interesting to see. But obviously, if they don't get the charge, these Bactrian noble horse will really destroy them. Bactrian noble horse are some of the best melee cav, especially for their price. And obviously a long time ago they were super OP. Not anymore, they're still very good though. Meanwhile, it looks like Freaky's advancing here. These thorax swords should have no problems destroying these hoplites, but the Samnite warriors are more than a match for them, and there's also much more infantry on the field for Epirus, and also these shock cav could be really handy in getting charges into the thorax swords before they engage. Bactrian royal guard as well, interesting choice for a general. Obviously not really that many other choices for Baktria, but I want to see how they're used. Obviously they'll be the best infantry on the field, it looks like. But even they are not going to be able to withstand the shock cav for very long, so he's got to be able to protect against the shock cav. I think that's the biggest thing for Klayton. Use second wind on these Samnites, I think that was an accident. Doesn't seem like they're very fatigued. Archers are shooting at these hoplites here, and I think Klayton should just, fall back. I don't know what he's going to do about these slingers. Once the slingers push forward, these archers are all dead. I mean, there's pretty much nothing they can do because the Rhodians are so good. And he is going to come up and start engaging. Pops quick reload immediately. Honestly, I don't even think he has to advance here, really. You can just let this fight go out. It should be very beneficial. Meanwhile, these Bactrian noble horse are going to charge in. I don't really see a need for that. They aren't able to get their javelins off, but there's nothing in support here, so it's not going to be very helpful. But, the archers are targeting these hoplites. I don't know why. This Bactrian noble horse pull out. They took 8 casualties because these Thessalians probably charged in. Yeah, and did a lot of damage, and this is not good for these noble horse. They do not want to be charged there. The Samnites didn't lose any men, obviously they're super tanky, but now these Thessalians are charging kind of too far, although this blob will be fantastic. The Samnites really love blobs because of their tanky nature. On this flank, you're going to charge into the noble horse here, and these Illyrian levies are here to back them up, which is really helpful, just to do extra damage. And now the Samnites are going to come in and destroy these thorax swords, but this is perfect. See, now the Thessalians can escape without being chased by these noble horse. Both sides will want to withdraw their cav, obviously. Not really any use in dying. There are slingers, still targeting the archers. Even these levy pikes will probably die to these Samnites. You can already see they're inside the pikeman line, so that's probably a fine fight. These hoplites are dying though. We've been focused down. Now these Baktria noble horse see a gap here anyway, and they're trying to exploit it, but this is going to be a devastating charge. Gonna get into these royal guards, and they do not want to be here. They want to pull back to these pikes because they're gonna die here probably if they get too extended. Meanwhile, these noble horse are gonna charge into these Thessalian cav. Not sure who's gonna win that fight actually. These Illyrian levies need to get back into the fight. They can probably help win this fight here. And 2 Thorax swords against Samnites. They might end up winning, but this is a fine fight for the Samnites. They really love to be in big number of battles. This is unnecessary, I think. He's gonna lose his general here, almost definitely. Although he's getting another Thessalian, so he's split the gaps very well. On this flank, he's definitely losing, but it's just delaying in time for his cav to get through the flank, and he wants to win this side. Meanwhile, these horse archers are still alive, and honestly, this is fine. He can leave his horse archers to the late game. They're very deadly in the late game. These noble horse rip apart these Thessalians. I'm very surprised. Maybe it was because of their thin formation, the Thessalians, versus a thick formation for the Bactrians. And now this is going to allow these Thorax swords to get a rear charge and these noble horse to get a rear charge. The Samnites will start to die very quickly. Meanwhile, the enemy general here, the Bactrian general, is probably going to lose here. Thessalian's got a good flank charge. They can go kill these Bactrian horses now, but in the backlines, these Hellenic royal cav are doing a really good amount of damage here, killing off the archers. Meanwhile, these guys are breaking in, but now the horse archers coming back into place. This is actually a very close battle. These cav are going to be necessary, but now they're getting bogged down, and this is where the noble horse will start to do great damage. 55 men in this unit, obviously going to be really good once this is in melee and no longer a charge situation. And the Hellenic royal cav are definitely dying here. Basically 2 full Bactrian noble horses. This is looking really bad now, because all the Bactrian noble horses are still on the field. We see here that these Bactrian hillmen got overextended, but it doesn't really matter. They can die. Slinger is being chased down. Only 1 Thessalian cav here to stop them. Bactrian general is dying, but there's so many units on the field for Baktria, I can't see them actually winning this. Now Thorax swords, the enemy general, or the Epirus general is going to die here any second now, surrounded by these 2 noble horse who are doing great damage. Even though they have not many kills, all against the enemy cav, which is definitely the biggest threat for Epirus. Scythian horse archers are going to die, but they did a good job chasing these slingers away. And there's still archers left on the field, which is going to be really helpful. And finally, these guys are all just going to die here. These Etruscan hoplites not doing enough. He got some really good flank charges on these Samnites on this flank, I think. That really caused them to die so quickly. Only 41 kills on the Samnites there. And over here, these Samnites are doing definitely better. They got better engagements, but still not enough. These Bactrian rear guards disengaged smartly. They didn't want to die. And finally the general and the Thessalians are dying here. Probably the general is dead. Yeah, this was never a good fight. Once they got blobbed down and another Bactrian noble horse came in, they were definitely losing that fight. And this fight is pretty much over at this point. Obviously, a lot of units left on the field for Baktria. I think that Baktria did a really good job of just absorbing the pressure from Epirus as they came in fast and getting his noble horse into favorable situations. Once the Thessalians charge in, the noble horse are just so much better without the charge, and they were able to wreck those Thessalians and not let them do enough damage. And the use of the pikes was also very helpful in just slowing down the center push, and so he could focus on the flanks, destroy them with his cav superiority, and then the center was pretty much useless. Because horse archers, I want to see how many kills his horse archers got. They definitely also played a good role, just distracting and forcing units to turn around, and they couldn't be a part of the fight. But maybe they didn't get so many kills. Doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, all the rest of these units are definitely going to rout. For example, these Stereo Spears were screening the horse archers pretty much the entire battle, and they were now just coming in, and they could have been super helpful against these Bactrian noble horse, showering javelins in and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, many units here for Baktria. This is an easy finish to the game. Won't be very hard at all. Just charges in. Doesn't even have to do this, but he's obviously going to concede here. I'm actually surprised these guys didn't rout. I guess the general didn't die. Oh no, he did. No. Well, it was a good game. Let's see the kills. As we can see, the Thorax swords did really well. I mean, they only are allowed to do this well though because of how well his cav did and the way his cav supported the Thorax swords super well. The Italians didn't get enough kills. The general should not have gone through that flank. I mean, it was just too easy for the Baktria Noble Horse to just surround and kill the general, and that was obviously a huge turning point. If he was able to save his shock cav for later, it could have been really deadly. Sandlights did okay, but in general they just got surrounded and kind of screwed. One hoplite got 0 kills there. It was shot down by the Persian archers before it even got close to combat. The Etruscan hoplite did okay, but these other hoplites did absolutely terrible. They must have just gotten completely crapped on by thorax swords. You see, the Baktria Noble Horse doesn't look like they did that much, but they absolutely did. Light archers with a lot of kills. This is why I didn't want, I think, Epirus to engage so quickly, because these archers would have just been killed by these slingers, and then you can go and engage. But instead, these archers get like 200 kills there, and are really deadly, and the pikes did okay. Obviously, not really supposed to do that much. So it was a good game. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.